All right, guys, this is our last of this unit. After this, we'll be having our test. After you finish your various assignments, make sure you check on there. Again, we should have wrapped up our mock election. Hopefully you understand the difference in political parties. Hopefully you understand why we have parties, how they were started, and the influence, how the campaign works. And now we're going to talk about focus number 4, which is campaign funding. Always exciting, right? Campaign funding and spending, and describe the influence of media coverage, campaign advertising, and public opinion polls. So let's get started. Campaign spending and funding. It isn't as simple as they get money donated. Matter of fact, there are actually specific laws they must follow. So first of all, election campaigns for officials can be very expensive. Matter of fact, we're talking about millions of dollars. The last election, there was almost $1 billion spent on every candidate's election. I mean, you're talking about $1 billion just to be elected, and pretty much to be president, you better put in multiple millions. So why do we need all this money? What is this money for? One, we have to have support staff. You can't just do it by yourself. Normally you have a campaign manager and finance managers and people that make phone calls and speeches and everything else. Travel, and they got to pay for them to travel as well. TV and radio commercials. And all the, you talk about flyers, pens, pencils, you name it, they have it, and it all costs money. It's not just made for free. So it is expensive. Also, we talk about where can we get this money from. First of all, there's private contributors. People or groups who want to donate this money. Now, you talk about sometimes it can be big businesses, which multiple candidates have, and then you need to check who that is. Also, sometimes it's just small fundings. Look at Ben Carson actually prides himself on getting, very little, no money from big businesses, and all of his money from small contributors. Of course, then you could be Donald Trump and you just fund everything yourself. Now, all of this money has to be marked down, who you got it from and where. That way you're not, getting money, say, from the ISIS and things of that nature. We do have the public treasury, which grants of money from the federal government as well. Now, so let's talk about the difference. There is what's called hard versus soft money. Hard money is money raised and spent to elect candidates for Congress and White House. Examples, campaigning for a presidential election and Senate elections. This money has a lot of restrictions to it. Any money you have to document it, where it's spent, who gave it to, and it has a lot of things that you have to do so. But then there's soft money. Soft money is given to party organizations, such as party building activities. So the Republican Party can use this money and say to get out to vote, or a voter registration. And in doing so, of course, they're obviously going to help out, try to promote their candidate, but they're not going to, it's not supposed to be geared just for one person. And that's why a lot of times what you'll see is sometimes the Republican Party will use this money and use soft money rather than hard money, because it's a little easier to spend and it doesn't have the same amount of regulations. Now let's talk about the media. You're talking about, especially in today's day and age, when you're looking at Donald Trump receiving all the media in the world, he doesn't pay for many advertisements, he doesn't go through it, and does he really need to? Think about it. He is on TV all the time for what he says, or sometimes what he hasn't said. But that being said, media is huge when it comes to presidential election. Think about it. You're on TV, you're on newspapers, radios, magazines. Matter of fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and ask a question here. Do you think that Abraham Lincoln or FDR would be elected today? Think about how they looked. Think about how they spoke. Or the fact that FDR had polio and was in a wheelchair, and it was hidden by everybody else. Matter of fact, he actually would roll his wheelchair up to the press, which he would tell everybody, you can't take a picture of me until I stand up, and he locks his legs into place with using the metal braces, and then he could take pictures of him. Would that happen today? I think everybody would be on YouTubing it or FaceTiming it or making a point to show that he has it. Snapchat would have gone crazy. Or, again, with Abraham Lincoln and his looks. And we're talking about a day and age when people are trying to be hip and cool, and they're found on various, talk shows and whatnot. So it's definitely not the same as it used to be. So again, my question to you is, would Abraham Lincoln and FDR be elected today? And what a lot of people say are some of the probably the two best presidents ever. So I'm going to ask that question. I want you to be able to answer that. So also we have various campaigns, political campaigns. I want you to see to these different commercials, but I want you to look at them on your own. I'll place them on there. And you'll see Mitt Romney's political campaign and also Barack Obama. And I want you to be able to, so I'm going to pause here and we're going to discuss this in class. I want you to look at these and tell me, you know, what you think of these campaigns and did they influence your debate. Again, we're not going to do this now, but I want you to look it up later and decide. So, of course, public opinion. We have polls for everything. And so we have Quinnipiac polls. There's polls through the Drudge Report, or, I mean, you can go down a list of people that have polls, and these polls help shape their decisions. Now, this might not be good or bad. Could be a bad thing, because if people are always looking what people think, then they might not be doing what's best for the country. Because sometimes we don't always know the circumstances of what's going on, and we want people to make the decision based on what needs to happen and not what is always the most popular attitude toward everything. So with that being said, we have a lot of opinion polls on did we go too far here, how far we go, and a lot of times when people are running for office, they use these polls to help guide their candidacy and what, you know, should they attack somebody or should they not, or is this the issue they should avoid? And so, such as right now with Hillary Clinton saying her emails about her emails or Benghazi, you can tell she'll do all she can to avoid that. But when we actually get down to two candidates, you see the Republicans will make a point to attack it. So that's it for this unit. Again, I want you to go and watch the Mitt Romney and Barack Obama YouTube videos. I'll make sure to put them on our website so you can look at them and we'll discuss them. Again, what is the difference between hard and soft money? List some of the major mass medias that we have discussed, and what is a public opinion poll? Again, the questions I want to make sure you answer as well. Would Abraham Lincoln or FDR be elected today?